Beautiful day, y'all. Today is January 7th, 2024. I'm going to start today with the Serenity Prayer again. This is part two. I need it. And this is something that everybody figures out eventually. The sooner you get it, the better you are. It's a staple. You can't do this without it. And the repetition, um, it changes the bad habits. And this is the best way to change the bad habits into a good habit. With this is that's it. Um, so when you start to feel angst, let's do this. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Thy will, not my will, be done. Amen. Okay. There are times when life just treats us unfairly. We may protest injustices, fall victim to self pity, give in to a poor me kind of attitude, or sink into depression. However, during these times when life is unfair, what we really need is serenity. Sorry. So I had issues yesterday with, not me, the outside issues that I had no control over. It literally took 22 hours for yesterday's video to get fully uploaded. It didn't finish until early this morning. Yeah, y'all know better than I do that we all go through it. The YouTubers go through it. Day 6, and I'm experiencing it. So, anyways, this is going to be on Joseph. So, if you choose to read out of your Bible, I'm not going to read it. So, Bible references is chapter 37 to 45. However, on with what I'm doing. If anyone in history could claim to have been treated unfairly, it was Joseph. He was one of 12 sons, the favorite of his father. In their jealousy, Joseph's 10 older brothers staged his death to fool their father and sold him into slavery in Egypt. Once a slave, Joseph devoted himself to serving his master well and was quickly promoted. He was then propositioned by his master's wife, and when Joseph refused her, he was falsely accused of rape. Thrown into prison with no hope of release, he again did his best to serve. He was soon running the administration of the prison. Finally, after many long years, Joseph was freed. He was promoted to the position of Prime Minister of Egypt. From this position, Joseph was able to eventually confront and forgive his brothers, who had sold him into slavery many years before. It takes serenity, courage, wisdom to maintain a healthy attitude when life isn't fair. Yeah, that's for real. There it is. We can't change the fact that our world isn't perfect and things are far from the way they should be, but we can choose our attitudes. We need serenity from God to help us change our responses to the injustices of life. We need courage to face with optimism the days when we are treated unfairly. We need wisdom to know whether to fight injustice or to make the best of the bad situation. Oh, here we go again. Okay. So, um, My name is Julie, Mama Jules Marshall. This is dirt. Everybody can relate in one way, shape, or form. Everybody. History repeats itself over and over and over again. It's called genetic predisposition. Yeah. But we have control over the directions we choose to go. We don't have to be running in the ingrained track that our family had. We can break the cycle. That's what I've been doing, is breaking the cycle. And I still got a lot more to breaking to do, because it's not, no, I wouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that, because I've given mine up to him for quite some time now. I couldn't tell you what stage I'm at when in comparison to Joseph. I don't know. I guess it's coming into that position of power, because I'm done with this shit. I'm sick of it. There are people out here in my hood, my neighborhood, that are wanted. They have dozen warrants, easy. Let's break it into the baker's dozen, I would hope, because it just goes to show the cops out here are corrupt. They don't do their job. They don't. We're their taxpayer money, and they don't do that job. None of them do their job in what they were hired to do as taxpayers' protection, supposed to be, to protect and serve. That's gone, and I'm done with it. This is where it gets to that, whether you keep your mouth shut or not. They're walking all over us. They're not doing their jobs, period. We are the voting people. I've had my wits about me for some time now. I have been living this dispute as to what's right or wrong when it comes to law enforcement, the government, the people who are supposed to be delegating where this money goes to. I'd like to know where this money is going to, because quite frankly, do you know where it's going? How long did it take for you to get a police officer when you really needed one? Not, and I'm saying this to the Karens out there, the stupid people that are wasting taxpayer dollars over stupid, piddly-anny, communistic, democratic bullshit. There are people out here that have been murdered, dead, hot-shotted, that are found on the river, that no one's talking about, except for a little bit on the hood. And even them, they don't know. It's right here. But the cops know. The politicians know. Now you people need to know too. My neighborhood, the society, the nation, the world. It's I do have control over what happens in that regard, because I'm done with them. I've told the reporters. I had them right here, and they didn't bother to come and follow up on the story. I have documentation of how many times I had called the detective and nothing had been done. They didn't come and talk to me. They didn't come and get my statement. Nothing. If this has happened to you as well, it's time to stop this. And quite frankly, my freedom of speech, okay? Freedom of speech. And this is the only speech that I've got, the only platform that we have right now. And I'm going to rally together for us. For us. Yes, I'm sober and I'm clean. How many politicians can say that? 35 years off of methamphetamines. And I'm talking the pure shit, crystal. Before it got highly contaminated with toxins and poisons and bullshit. I'm hardcore, baby. Alcoholism, 24 years sobriety plus. Last drink was a pint of Everclear, a pint of butterscotch schnapps, and I ate the weed to myself. Oh, because yes, that was mine. That was me. All me. And I was as small as I am now, at 115 pounds. I should have died from alcohol poisoning. But it's normal here. It's prevalent. It's owned and supported by our highest politician in this state. It's got to stop, people. It's got to stop. And I believe a lot of y'all are on board with this because we're at a huge change. A huge change. And I'm admitting what I feel is my sins, okay, to you guys right now. Because in 2020, in 2019, when the election was being held, I was supposed to be a judge in Boulder County. And I was stuck homeless in Firestone. Couldn't get there because I was footlocked and I was in pain. This is the grandiose of what we get to, what we do, what we go through. Is it really? Or would there have been a very good possibility that what happened would not have happened if I had actually been able to fulfill my job? But I didn't. I dropped the ball. And look at the shit show we've been in for the last 4 flippin' years. And now these assholes are trying to tell us that we can't have a particular person on our ballot. And I say that specifically not to be pointed in that Trump is being refused to be on any particular ballot in the nation. That's censorship. He doesn't disqualify to be on a ballot any less than I qualify. Yeah. Again, Julie, Mama Jules Marshall. And I know they know who I am. Bring it. Because now they know who I am too. I'm up. I'm game. I've talked to people in my neighborhood now for a year plus. I've been in this neighborhood now for 2 years, standing toe to toe with the criminals in the area. And God bless it, because he did, and with me through me here, it's all him using me as a tool and a vessel for change. And it worked. He did through me. I used Narcan retrieval 3 times in 1 block. I had St. Francis bringing me Narcan regularly. That was a fun one to say. I'm nervous again. We can change this. This is what we can do. This is what I'm working to do. I'm doing. This is what I'm working to gain more of and across the nation. I'm a staunch Republican. I have never been on any ballots in any position of political power. That's no, that is not what I'm about, and that's not what my ancestors were about. U.S. Senate seat judge holder John Marshall, back in the 1856, I do believe the year. I'm not exactly for. I have had issues with my memory, and I'm proud to say that I have recovered as tremendously as I have through those injuries, learning how to reuse and reroute my neurotransmitters in my brain. Yes, we can do this. We can be the future of change in the way it should be, the way it's supposed to be in the state constitution and the U.S. Constitution. The buck stops here. Originated from the cowboys playing poker, using their skills, their knowledge to how to play the game. Were you just going to con me and think you're going to snowball me a lie? Well, guess what? The ones that actually won, the ones that knew, used a skill to understand when they're being lied to, when they're being played with. The buck stops here. I'm taking this hand. I'm running this deal. I'm good with it. I got this. God's got this. And that's the only reason why I've got this, is because God's got this. I would love to be able to help more than I have behind the scenes. Albany, New York. Waterford, New York. Troy, New York. You recognize me? I had a big brown dog with me at the time. Big, big brown dog. This is me. I was standing outside the Human Services building at Troy, crying, while there were 4 women praying for me. And I was refused help. Well, the supervisor witnessed that. And I had gone back upstairs like the 4 women had told me to do after they prayed for me. I went back upstairs. And he was there. And he said, "I'm glad you came back. I witnessed what happened, and that was wrong." He took care of it. And I ended up getting a bus ticket back to Colorado, where it's all I knew. I didn't know anybody in Troy aside from the boyfriend that I was leaving. Do y'all remember? Do you know somebody who remembers? I'm sure you do. The truth will set us free. I'm that belt of truth right now. He's given me this. My neighborhood knows it. You know it from when I was there, because you witnessed it. It's time to speak up. It's time to take it back to a direction that works for the people, by the people, for the people. We, the people. No more being censorship on whose name can or cannot be on a ballot. My name is Julie Mama Jules Marshall. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. This is something I can. The courage to change the things I can. That is within myself, and I have. And now you can be a witness of it. You have been a witness of it. Let's rally together and get that change going within our town. And the wisdom to know the difference. They want to treat us like ants, people. I don't care if you're drinking. I don't care if you're drugging. I don't care what religion you are. Because this is America. And this is the world. In God we trust in America. We're the ones that are doing it, but we're not living it. It's no more that we're going to bend over backwards for other people's freedoms and rights when they're taking it out of our nation. The buck stops here. You've all witnessed the unconditional love and the fierce kindness. It's time. Am I begging you? No, I'm not begging you. I'm calling you. I'm asking you to step up and let's change this shit show that we've become as a nation. Because of those who want to think they have more to it, that they have more control, no. We take our freedoms back and our rights back. The next election, handwritten, type of deal, ballots, right there in the box. No more computer shit. It's no more computer. It must be done by hand. It gives plenty of people jobs, volunteer jobs or not, it doesn't matter. It must be done by hand. I'm calling out the nation. We screwed it up when we allowed them to use the computers to count ballots because computers are contaminated from everywhere, which broke our freedoms and justice in our election process. Yeah. So if no one's going to do anything about it now, except for let them say, no, you can't have Trump on a ballot. Bull crap. And guess what? It's rodeo season. It's bull crap. And I'm not taking it anymore, hun. I'm shoveling that shit off. It's time to be done. Don't be afraid anymore, people. We can take our country back again. And it's going to start right here in this state where they have walked all over our constitutional rights. I have it on my phone. Colorado State Constitution. Read it. It's pertinent. What they've done has been violating it for years. Because this didn't get this way overnight. And I do only mean years. I do mean decades. Plans like this don't just happen overnight. We're talking about decades. Enough people doing the footwork, enough people doing the investigation properly. Put the pieces together. It's a Springbok puzzle. It's a Harry Potter's moving picture that's of the past, which means it's already set in ink. Put the pieces together, people. I already have. He gave it to me. And I'm not denying that because it is in God I trust. Be strong and courageous. Let's see. Can you see that? No, you can't. So I'm not going to futile it. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid, for the Lord your God will be with you forever. I love that. Forever. I love y'all. This is my country. This is my home. This is my neighborhood. And I don't have a driveway. I don't have property. I would like property. But why? To prove how I can change how it's been screwed up. It's called Carbon Cowboys. They've been doing it for a little while, just a little while now. A while now. But it's rapid progression. This is no joke, people. It's time to take our country back. And since it's now time for election time and all that, let's get her done. I do believe that Trump, I do believe that you're looking for a vice president candidate. I know you know who I am. because I've already been through it with the others, Obama to be pointed. I'd love to be on board. And I think me doing this is my interview. I've, I've, I've stepped up to the plate because there's no going back on this one. No going back. You have all the knowledge and experience and wisdom with that position already. I've gone across this country on foot, in a trailer and bicycle with a service dog, 125-pound service dog. I think you've seen me. A vehicle, SUV, back on foot again, grounded, fought for my job, and then got an RV. Now I've been bucking it legally, getting documented, my license plate, the whole 9 yards, insurance. Yeah, people, it's not easy doing it with no money because I don't do Social Security. I did get food stamps a couple times, but, a person's got to eat, and nobody was helping. I'm not hard to miss. But when you do see me, I know you saw the truth. And yes, I have an angry side. And I know there's been people of you that have seen that angry side and laughed hysterically. Just had one last week. Oh, yeah. The guy was rude as all get out. And, me. Sorry, didn't cover it. I should have taken care of it. I was the only one close enough to take care of it, but I didn't have it myself to quite so quickly react, realizing that I would have been in my right. In defense of a couple other women that were sitting there. I apologize to you ladies. I'm sorry I did not take action. It will not happen again. I promise you that. The next time a wanker gets pulled out in my presence, it will get kicked up in it. I'm done. Because that was assault on her, on me, and the other people around me. I'm done with it. You hear me? I am asking. Serious interview. I don't have political aspirations aside from I would like to honor my family genetics, my genetic predisposition, which is already in me, but at the same time, too, I'm fighting for that change. They should not have that many years of power. They should not have that many years of power. Period. And I know that my great-great-great-great-grandfather would agree with me on this one. He would. No one human being should have that much length of time in that much power. It corrupts everything around them. And I think you all believe this now. It's time for a change. It's time to be that courage. It's time to be that change. And I want to represent. Thank you all. Have a beautiful day. God bless.